Just because the underlying backstory of this show is a post-apocalyptic world where you live in this dystopian society in the midst of a pandemic, as there's a nationwide uprising and the entire nation is on lockdown and can't leave their homes or even the country. We don't really have to talk about that. We can just go straight to who our next guest is, I guess.
Yeah. So, but I kind of wanted to. All right, here you go. What you see behind me was once a beautiful landscape of thriving businesses and flourishing trees, now reduced to a gray blanket.
And what you see behind me was once a thriving metropolis, but it's curtains for them.
Curtains. Curtains for all of you.
We have to be careful, just in general, about not talking over each other, because we don't want to be like the news shows talking heads who just like shouted. Let's do a segment where we're like the news show talking heads, like right now, and let's just have a shout out and see who can outshout each other. So let's pick a subject we don't agree on, and we'll,
Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead. That's a good subject. Okay, so the Grateful Dead are the best band that has ever existed, and
The best album they ever made was the Soundcheck album with no songs.
they didn't do. It's not about their albums. It's about their. Well, you're supposed to talk over me through this.
I will.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving you a second to
say. I thought we were just going to shout at each other, but
Oh, okay.
I'll just make stuff up. Okay, so it's not about their albums. It's about their concerts. And if you listen to
Their concerts, which stopped happening completely when one member became unavailable.
that's true that they did rely on him as a. Oh, this is hard. I want to hear what you have to say. That I can't. I don't think I'd ever make it on Fox. Not just because I'd call them out for their lies, but also because I wouldn't have it in me to just shout over people. I suppose I'm just too nice a person.
John, your shouting has improved, but calling us out on everything is not acceptable.
And another thing,
Excellent.
there's very much a yin yang in this world. That things swing left, things swing right. And hopefully through this clunky madness, we end up with some form of progress and not ending up in despair. But, when times get dark like these, it's really hard to tell. Which way are we going to go? I have hope and I have faith, and I'm going to keep working toward that beloved community that Dr. King talks about. But at the same time, it gets hard. It gets to be a challenge.
Do you think there's a place for anger on this show? There's a lot of anger out there, which I don't know.
We should definitely treat our emotions as a barometer. And if something makes us angry, to check that and be like, well, what's making you angry there? But I don't think we should make anger a piece of this show as a regular thing. I think it would be good for us to do the 2-minute hate.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, well, it's, it was originally introduced by George Orwell in 1984. They would have the 2-minute rage or 2-minute hate each day, where they would, basically shout at pictures of, they would shout at pictures of the evil guy, their straw man, whose name happened to have been Goldstein. It was,
Wow.
I want to say his name was Emmanuel Goldstein. So if you want, I can. I'm going to put myself in speaker view, so you'll just see me and not you. And I'll just put my face up, and you can just shout at it, and we'll do like the 2-minute rage. So I'm just going to put myself on screen, and you can now rage at me. Okay. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, 2-minute hate.
Why, you ruined my life! I am so angry! Why are you there? You make me mad! You have taken everything I value and reduced it to nothing! If there is any justice in this world, you will vaporize into vapors! Vapors within vapors!
I wish you to that to me. Why did you do that to me? Why,
It was
why did you do that? Why?
John. It's just a cultural. It's a cultural. G- um what a tradition. It's just something we do.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I,
Would you like to hate on me now? Maybe you should hate on. Okay, you go ahead and hate on me.
okay, I'm gonna. Hang on, I gotta get a tissue. I am. I'm laughing, but that made me so sad. You hurt my feelings. That really did. That hurt my feelings. That felt terrible. I hated that.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were like capable of taking, my entire life getting ruined into your personal accomplishment.
It's. I'm putting it on my resume.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. So, and viewers at home, you can, if you want, you can, take a look at him. There he is, Andrew. Think of all the things you've got to say about him, and he'll only hear mine, I suppose. But if you want, you can even send in your rage if you want, and we'll play it back on a future show. Okay, so here we go. Here comes the rage at Andrew. Andrew, you're such a. I don't like you, and I don't like the way your face is. I don't like your face. I don't like you. I don't. You know what it is? I like you. I don't have any feeling to hurt you. I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I don't have anything I want to say that's negative about you. I don't even want to put it into the universe. I don't have it. You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
It's too easy. 2-minute love. Andrew, you have proven to be a dear friend, an honest voice, a true powerhouse in my life. Somebody who really looks out for me, somebody who has my best interests at heart, who is willing to question me, who is willing to challenge me, but never does it in any hurtful way, and is just such a kind soul. You have been the glue that has held many of my projects together, including this one. You have been the voice of reason. You have been my muse in songs and projects and pieces of art. And I love you so greatly and so wholly and so completely. And I am so proud to call you a friend, and that our friendship has lasted for so long, over 3 decades at this point, and that it keeps coming back, even when we're not together, even when we don't see each other or speak for years sometimes at a pop. I love you.
I love you too, John. That was very, very nice.
Yeah. We should do the 2-minute love. The 2-minute rage two things. One is it hurt me too much. But I am also concerned with how easy it was for you to just hate on me like that.
Okay, now I'm a little verklempt. I have to blow my nose.
Okay, so all the love. So you see how that is? It almost doesn't matter what the emotion is. The emotion, it makes things come out of our nose. Basically, emotions cause secretions.
I wonder why that is. It's pretty neat.
Quite legitimately, stuff coming out your nose. I had tears coming out my eyes,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into, what else happened during that time, but I'm going to have to change after this episode. Why don't we bring out our first guest? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it, our first guest on Jon Goldstein's regular show. This is an old friend of mine. His name is Jubi, Arriola-Headley. He happens to be an up-and-coming poet. He has an exciting new book coming out of his poetry called Original KINK that's due out this October. So Let me introduce to you Mr. Jubi, Arriola-Headley. Hi, Jubi. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Sure, my pleasure. This is exciting. So you are officially my first interviewee.
You are officially also my first interview. I'm using you as practice for when the New York Times calls.
That's fine by me. I hope they get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So this is our first time, so we can we'll take it slow.
Gentle.
We can talk a little bit, but I wouldn't mind, if you're up for it, getting right into hearing some of your poetry.
Lately, I've been interested in readings and starting with what is the first poem in the book, Original KINK. It's kind of the thesis statement of the entire collection. And this poem is called Peacocking. You a boy, right? It's this silly game I play with myself, scavenging for scraps of conversation out of context, like peacocks in the Arctic or tenderness expressed in baritone. And here in this department store, like every other, I'd found it, a single word, sharp and swift to Fisher. Boy. Perhaps the boy had stared too long at the man behind the cosmetics counter. Gothic arches penciled in where eyebrows once grew. Perhaps the boy had lingered, longing, lusting, fingered the fabric of some skirt or blouse, as the man I can't imagine is his father dragged him through the Mrs. section. This boy, broken, his stride, his spirit. While some woman I can only imagine the boy called mother guided her gaze toward anywhere but this moment. She's long seeded hope for something soft in the boy. I wish I didn't know the rest of his story, how butterflies won't so much settle in a boy's belly as slit their own throats for fear of flamboyance. How a boy must fashion his fists into ciphers for touch. How quick we are to teach a boy to cradle his hurt in his hands and preen.
Wow. So there's something I didn't mention before you started that I don't know if it came through in your poetry, and I don't know if the audience members will have figured it out. But it's that you're Black, and
They might not have noticed. I do live in South Florida. There are people who tan better than this.
Oh, no, it wasn't that.
Oh, that's not what you meant?
But yeah, that you're gay, and that that was I heard this poem before when at your last reading, and that was the piece. Some of the stuff you were talking about, the discoveries that the things you were not permitted to enjoy, that you truly wanted to enjoy, and some of that comes from being gay. But I know for myself, like, I love butterflies, and I love all kinds of things that are considered beautiful or artsy or whatever, or especially in our time period growing up, because we're in the same age group. Things that were called gay. Don't do that. You're going to be gay. And personally, I just wanting to escape that, wanting to like not be trapped by some kind of ideal of society that has nothing to do with me or my true self or what I love in life. But for you, and is it okay if we talk about this? Like,
absolutely.
Do you remember coming out? Do you remember what it was like when you knew that what you were?
I know now, retroactively, having done the work internally to write this book, that probably I first fell in love with somebody I identified as another boy at 5 years old. And I wrote a poem about it, and it's called Puppy Love, actually. I don't know this boy from a can of paint. He appeared once in my life that I can remember, and I've never found him again. But I was at a barbecue at my own house, and this boy was there, and I fell and scraped my knee down to the white meat underneath, and I was terrified, and I was screaming. And this boy, maybe 8 or 9 or 10, came over and put his arm around his shoulder and put his head on my chest and comforted me. And that was like a revolution in my mind. I fell in love with that boy then and there. He was as God to me at that moment. And so that's probably the first indication I had, but I didn't have words for what that was called.
You know, you mentioned that poem "Puppy Love." I don't know if you have it handy, if that's something you'd like to share, but you know, based on the story you just described, that sounds like that would be a nice one to hear.
Thank you. First time you fell in love, you wasn't a minute more than 5 years old. Don't you let them grown folks tell you different. You was in love. Grown folks will say, what a little boy know about in love. But you loved him like them church ladies in their pressed red skirt suits and jute and feather crowns love to gossip. Like they like to say they love Jesus. Here's how you loved him. You couldn't think of him without a capital H. He was 10. You think. You can't remember. Skip that. Tell him what's true. His eyes was like this particular brown you get when daddy pour his bourbon and the light catch it just so. Or maybe like puppies, that's the thing. Soft and full of scrappy and new. Here's what you know. Them pools of dew, they drowned you. Drowned you. That day you ran and tripped and fell and skinned your thigh clear down to the raw meat of you. You screamed. And how did he know how to mother you? How was his arm strong enough to lift you off the ground? How did he know to work his hands to wipe your tears? How do you know to lay your head on his chest? Wrap your arms around his waist? Imagine this moment a sacrament. How'd he know to let you? From time to time, you wonder where this boy might be and who. You hope he's known a happy like the happy he gave you. You wonder if he thinks of you ever, late at night, lying next to the one who ain't the one who got away. His first love. If only you knew his name.
Wow. So I muted myself for those, but there's line after line in there that I was just going, oh, that like.
Thank you.
Wrenching and beautiful, and you know your writing is really nice, but you also deliver really well. So you know, congratulations. You really are finding some very cool stuff and very interesting stuff. This has been Jubi Arriola-Headley. He has an awesome new book coming out called Original KINK that's coming out this October. Jubi, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, John, and likewise.
The results are in. New York, it's working. That is just great. That is just great news. That is just great. That is just great news. That is just great. That is just great news. That is just great news. That is just great news. And that's why I'm in such a happy-go-lucky mood. That's why I'm a cool dude in a loose mood. That is just great. That is just great news. That is just great. That is just great news. That is just great. That is just great news. That is just great news. Yay, New York. Yay, New York. Yay, New York.
questions?
Love that. Love that. That's my buddy Jeff Roberts who put that together. He's got a drummer on there. He didn't tell me the drummer's name. So let's just give a shout out to Drummer. Drummer,
Oh.
nice job.
The footage of a drummer playing along is not Jeff Roberts?
It's not Jeff Roberts. I don't know who it is. But he was good. One of the segments that we've been planning for a long time now is that we're going to have a sports section on this show. And the main thing that we haven't quite figured out is what to call the sports show. And so I thought maybe like if you and I just do a little, back and forth right now, maybe we can come up with a name because, we've talked about calling it Sports Talk. I'm not so crazy about that. And, we have Chrystal Stone. Chrystal Stone is going to be our sports commentator. In fact, she is our sports commentator. She's already committed and we've already done some filming with her and it's going great. In fact, she'll be on the show a little later. So I think in particular, if we're going to have her on the show, like within the next 15, 20 minutes, we should definitely come up with a name for her segment. And I was thinking, if the show is, Jon Goldstein's regular show, maybe we call it Jon Goldstein's regular show's sports segment.
Okay, well, let's brainstorm. I won't naysay.
Okay, there's only yes and, like improv.
Exactly. Yes, and sportique.
Ooh, sportic. Sportique.
Yes.
You're talking about like boutique.
Exactly.
Chic. Sport chic. Sport chic.
Stat sheet.
Stat sheet. What's that? That's something sports related, I'm sure.
Too obscure.
Too obscure. Right. Okay, yeah. Give me some, I'm not really a sports guy, so I need something a little more. That's why I'm trying to push my boundaries. I'm trying to push my limits with this show. And sport, so that's why I thought bringing sports in was,
oh yeah,
for me.
Sport light, sport glow, sport beam.
Sport beam is good. Support beam. I guess that's something useful that you want, but doesn't really have much to do with sports. Except you need them to build stadiums, which we can't even use right now anyway. All right. What about
Sports screen?
Sports scream?
Well, I was saying sports screen.
Sport cream. Like ice cream.
Sport jam.
Sport jam. Sport jelly. Sport belly. Sport ball, you use balls in sports a lot. So what about like talk ball talk?
Ball talk? That's nice.
If these balls could talk. How's that?
Pretty good.
Sport sack. Sport stack. Sport short. Sport short. Sport short shorts.
Sport shot.
Sport shot. Sport. Sport spot.
Sport spot.
Sport spot. Sports spot.
Sport spot.
Sport jigga jigga. Sport chicka chicka chicka. Like that kind of thing.
Fiddly sports.
Fiddly? Tiddly sports. Tiddlywinks. Sport wink. Sport think. Sport brink. Sport mink. I'd love to get away from sport. Like, can we maybe there's another word for sport. Game?
Playtime. Game. Yeah.
Sport game.
Winning, losing, tying, sport game.
Chrystal Stone appeared in the award-winning dramatic web series Disciplinary Actions, as well as several independent films and on the New York stage for National Black Theater, New Federal Theater, the Gallery Players, Wow Cafe Theater, and Here Arts Center. She's also been a guest commentator on ESPN's First Take and co-hosted The Hangout on ESPN Radio. Here with some wonderful commentary on what's going on today in the world of sports is Chrystal Stone. Hi, Chrystal. How you doing?
Hi, John and Andrew. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
I am so excited to talk about what's going on specifically in the world of the NFL when it comes to blackballed quarterback Colin Kaepernick. This recent uprising, the George Floyd protest, people waking up to the realities of systemic racism in our society has circled everyone back around to the conversation that Colin Kaepernick originally started in 2016 when he was protesting by taking a knee during the national anthem, protesting systemic racism, social injustice, police brutality. And there has been talk that some teams are actually really looking into bringing him back into the NFL. There are some teams that could use a good quarterback or a good backup quarterback, at least, like the Tennessee Titans, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Chiefs, even the recent Super Bowl champion Chiefs. So there's renewed interest in wanting to get Colin Kaepernick back in the league. But if you're a Black person in this country, you have been waiting for this for 4 years. Things that the NFL has done over the last 3 weeks or so, like reserving Juneteenth as a holiday, just recently announcing that they're going to play the Black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, before each game during week 1 of the season. I feel like they're missing one thing. How about hiring Colin Kaepernick back into the league?
Now, is he really actually I mean, he plays football. He played professionally before all this, right?
Yes, Colin Kaepernick definitely played professionally. He led his team, the San Francisco 49ers, the team that he last played for. He led them to the Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick is most certainly one of the best 96 quarterbacks in the world, and he definitely deserves to be in the NFL.
Sure, especially right now in the height of football season. I mean, I guess normally it is, but not with the pandemic. Do you know, they're not playing now, right?
No, they're not playing, and they wouldn't have been playing at any time right now. It's the summer. So the season starts in August, the preseason.
Andrew, did you know that football, they're not even playing football now, and it's not even because of the pandemic?
Oh, yeah, no, I could have sworn that the football was really going on everywhere.
What would normally be going on right now, this is the beginning of July. The NBA would have finished already. Wimbledon, tennis, the WNBA would have started by now. Soccer would have been starting right now. But definitely no NFL football until August.
You know, I know in other countries, soccer they call football. Maybe that's my confusion there.
Colin Kaepernick definitely didn't play soccer.
I mean, that's about all I don't. Andrew, do you have anything to ask about football?
Well, what do you have to kneel during God Bless America?
There's a reason why Colin Kaepernick decided to kneel in the first place, and I think it's very important to point that out. So when he started his protest during the preseason of 2016, no one really took notice because he was just sitting on the sideline on the bench during the playing of the national anthem. Once it started getting attention from the media, he started getting criticized, and people started asking, well, why is he just sitting there? A Green Beret, Nate Boyer, spoke with Kaepernick, and they decided that the best way to move forward with this protest was to kneel during the national anthem, because that would be much more a sign of respect, because that's what folks in the military do to show respect to fallen soldiers. So it's actually a sign of respect. Colin Kaepernick was very clear when he was asked multiple times why he was kneeling. He said he's kneeling because the national anthem, the words of the national anthem don't ring true for Black Americans. With systemic racism and social injustice and police brutality, you know, what are we celebrating here? So when you say to kneel during the God Bless America song, that has absolutely nothing to do. It's not because of a song. It's because of the celebration of what America should be, and it's not. That's why folks are deciding to kneel.
So I know. I'm sorry, Andrew, I interrupted you, but I know when I didn't do this when I proposed to my wife because we were in the car, but maybe when you proposed to your wife, did you kneel?
I did.
And was it for the same reasons or different reasons or?
I think it was the same in a lot of ways because, we had been unmarried, which was, it wasn't right.
You address the social inequities within your own relationship.
Exactly.
Well, but you consummated your marriage, as they say, before. I mean, because if you hadn't, then it's like we had, but I didn't kneel. We were in a parking garage. Like it wasn't, it just wasn't the right time. I just had to get it out of me. I'd been trying and trying. I was, like Kaepernick, I was going for a ring. I was trying to get the ring, like in the Super Bowl ring, to buy a wedding ring, and the stores had all closed. But I just couldn't wait anymore. And I suppose in some ways it's similar, like that. He just couldn't wait anymore. That we're all so tired of waiting. We're waiting for our freedoms and our rights, and we're waiting for
the game to begin.
I'm joking around a little bit, but all joking aside, we're waiting for the country to catch up to what so many of us know clearly, is that his kneeling was a symbolic gesture, but meant very seriously to focus on systemic racism and how people are mistreated, and that if I get stopped by a police officer, which happens rarely to me, I'm not afraid. I might hide my drugs in the glove box pretty far, but I'm not that scared. Whereas he probably left his home.
Yeah, whereas it is a scary reality for a lot of Black Americans when they get pulled over by the cops. I get nervous when I see the cops.
Do you think that Colin Kaepernick would have been less aligned with powers that be, such as the police, if he maybe took off his shoulder pads when he kneeled and maybe stripped down into like a little, like a unitard or something?
You're not allowed to say unitard anymore.
So if he looked, quote unquote, less intimidating, although all the players wear shoulder pads, white, black, they all wear shoulder pads, but if he took his off, he would be less intimidating and be more received for his message.
Chrystal's right. We have a problem and we got to fix it. I would love it. I'm going to take out, I have my American flag right here. I would like to kneel for the national anthem. And Andrew, I think, if you'd be willing also to kneel, and Chrystal, maybe, I don't know if you can sing, but maybe you could sing the national anthem for us or something. And I'm just taking a knee. I'm going for it right here.
I think the audience needs to understand what the issue is with the national anthem. So there's a verse in the national anthem that basically celebrates the killing of enslaved people who were former slaves, and they went to fight for the British. So, I mean, you feel about that, but, makes me feel some kind of way as a Black American that my ancestors are being celebrated to be killed in a song that celebrates the entire country and patriotism.
I've never heard that before. So I'd love to know what that line is. Is it in the main verses? Is it in a secondary verse?
It's second or the third. And it says something about the hireling or the slave, like there's no refuge for the hireling or the slave simply because they went over and fought for the British. So there's some deep history that no one really wants to talk about. Just, throw up the Star Spangled Banner and the sparklers and all that. I know why Kaepernick kneeled, and I know why a lot of other Black players in the NFL have kneeled. But, at this juncture, Jon, why are you kneeling?
Well, I wanted to, like Kaepernick, just do it. I thought it was the right thing in the moment, and I guess I'm making light of a serious subject.
I'm happy to sing the national anthem for you all if that makes you feel more comfortable.
Now that you've told me this about the lyrics, now I don't want to sing it at all. I mean, I don't even want to. I feel like I need to protest kneeling. And stand up.
We're celebrating this country's independence and freedom.
Andrew.
I don't even have room if I wanted to kneel. I mean, I do want to kneel. I just what?
So it's an inconvenience to you to kneel.
No, I have to. It's not like
Get down on the ground now. Get down. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
it's not easy.
I'm glad you wore your good shorts today. Chrystal, maybe you shouldn't sing the national anthem. Maybe you should sing, I don't know. What else do you know?
I think I mentioned this earlier. The NFL is going to play the Black national anthem, which a lot of white Americans are unaware of. It was written as a poem in 1900 by an activist named James Weldon Johnson, and it was adopted as the Negro national anthem. And I sung it a lot, especially as a kid. I would love to, if we could, sing that. I'm sure you all are aware of the first, at least the first verse. We can sing the first verse together.
I know.
Just jump in. I'm sure you know some words here and there, a couple of lines, whatever you feel comfortable with to help harmonize.
All right. With the Zoom platform, that we may have trouble singing together, but we can certainly try.
If it weren't for the Zoom platform.
But if we didn't have the Zoom platform, I could count on you all to sing this song with me, right?
We just need to pick a key that works for, I'm a tenor. Andrew, what are you? You're like a baritone?
Right, yep.
So we just need to pick a key. Lift every voice and sing. Right, I'm close there, right?
Since I'm going to be doing the singing, see how you just kind of took that away and just said, okay, so I'm doing the singing, so I'll pick the key because it's the Black national anthem, and as a Black person, I should be.
I did that.
Picking the key for the song that was written for my people.
I did that. So, ladies and gentlemen, performing our national anthem. All of us, but in particular, Chrystal's national anthem.
Also known as the Black national anthem.
Chrystal Stone.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with a harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
That's awesome. Awesome. Play ball!